News Alert.
Breaking news in Harper Woods, a house explosion. Chopper 7 flying over the area where it looks like a tornado crushed that home. Take a look at that. Unbelievable. People in the area being evacuated. It happened this morning east of I-94 and south of Vernier. Let's go live to the scene right now. 7 Action News reporter Jim Kurtzner. And Jim, you just learned about some injuries.
We did. 2 people injured, but let me show you what's going on right now. It's a cleanup and an investigation underway. Take a look past me. See a crew here from DTE, and the house just passed that. But let me draw your attention up above the house. You see 2 telephone poles, and the second telephone pole with the transformer leaning to the left. We are told that some of the debris as this house exploded hit this telephone pole. Now, police out here on the scene are telling us here's what happened. This house was empty. It was a rental in between tenants. 2 guys showed up to do some work here at the house. One guy was on the outside in the back. One guy was on the outside in the front, going into the front door. As he opened the front door, he apparently set off some sort of a spark that ignited the natural gas that had built up inside. The house exploded, blowing out the sides, especially in the back, and then the roof pancaked down on top of it. 2 men critically injured, taken by ambulance to the hospital. Critical, but the chief says they believe non-life-threatening injuries. The chief picks up the story from there.
DTE is on scene. We're working with them to make sure that all the rest of the houses, we've evacuated all of them, and we're just working to make sure this isn't a wider spread problem than what we have. The business on the corner sustained a significant amount of damage. The house right next door, one house east, sustained significant damage also.
And take a look at some pictures. You can see the building adjacent to this house across an alley with the window blown out. We're told by that chief that this is sometimes a child daycare center as well as other businesses. He says people were inside, but they're accounted for. No other injuries other than the 2 men at the house. You heard him talk about evacuations. He said they evacuated about 20 homes and about 20 businesses. So dozens of people have been evacuated because they want to make sure there are no other potential threats with any other natural gas leaks. But he says throughout the day they will be allowing those people back home. We just talked with a man who was inside the house directly behind. He said he was asleep. He could feel it. He doesn't know if his house has any damage right now, but this investigation continues. We'll have more later today. Live in Harper Woods, Jim Kurtzner, 7 Action News.
A lot of questions still to be answered. Jim, thank you for that live report. We also want to bring in 7 Action News reporter Saima Chowdhury. She's just down the street from where this happened. Saima, what are people saying around there?
Well, Anne-Marie, let me just give you guys a live look. We're only just about 3 or 4 houses down from where the explosion happened. Neighbors here are just completely shaken up. They tell us that as soon as they heard the explosion, it felt like an earthquake. They came running out here, and they said that they found a man and a woman lying on the street asking for help. They called 911. Obviously, scary moments here on Lennon Street for these neighbors. We talked to one woman who's lived nearby for about 50 years and said she's never, ever seen anything like this or heard anything like this. We talked to some other neighbors and they said they are evacuated right now. Nearby homes have some damage as well. They tell us that this home was for sale for a few weeks and that it may have been vacant for some time now, and so they're just concerned about what the situation is. And they said that they know that a man and woman were in or approaching the house. Sources on the scene actually tell me that they believe that man and woman may have been home inspectors here inspecting this house. Now, we talked to one woman who lives across the street from the explosion. She came running out when she heard what happened, and then she saw the man and woman on the street. She approached the woman, and the woman was asking for her help. Take a listen.
I was in the kitchen finna cook some lunch. I heard this noise, like something that I thought something had hit the house or car. By the time I got to the door, I can see the windows fell off the door. I looked across the street. The degree was down. This lady was in between a burgundy and gray car. She was bleeding, and the man was laying on the degree in his back. I went in the house and got a wet towel to give to her, and she had a real big gash on her face, and she was bleeding real bad. She asked me to call her mother, and I called her mother for her. And I stayed there until the police got there with her.
Obviously, that woman is completely shaken up by the experience, trying to call a family member and tell them what exactly happened to one of their loved ones. And that she didn't even know exactly what took place. All they know is that you came out, you saw the explosion. They said there wasn't any fire associated with this explosion, but as you can see from all that video, debris everywhere. I mean, the house is completely gone. Right now, the American Red Cross is on the scene helping. We heard about 8 homes have been evacuated. They're here trying to help out. As you can see behind me, crews are trying to clean up and also figure out exactly what caused this explosion. Obviously, we're going to follow this story all day long, and as soon as we get more information, we'll pass it along to you. We're live in Harper Woods. Saima Chowdhury, 7 Action News.
And Saima, you're obviously very close, a very scary situation for those neighbors. Can you smell anything in the area?
Actually, Anne-Marie, but when we got here, there was no smell in the air. Besides what you see, it feels like a normal day out here until you come and see all the debris out here. You come and see all the neighbors trying to figure out what's going on. There is no gas smell in the air. And like I said, the neighbors here tell me that all of a sudden the house exploded, but there was no fire or anything else associated with it. But it isn't until when you open your eyes and really just start looking around. I mean, one of the houses next door, I mean, they don't even have windows anymore. It's popped out as well. So a lot of damage in this area. Obviously a lot of damage with the house that exploded, but some of the nearby homes as well. As you can see right there, it's about 2 houses down, the door's open. That house is missing its screen and window over there. A scary, scary situation. A lot of folks here said they were home when this happened. One woman we spoke with said she was making something to eat. She was in the kitchen. She thought it sounded like an earthquake or some sort of bomb went off. Of course, when you come out here and then you see what happened, there's so many questions, and we're trying to get the answers right now, Anne-Marie.
All right, Simon, an unbelievable scene, lots to get to. We'll continue to cover this both on air and online. Stay safe out there. Thanks so much. And of course, stay with us. We'll have updates on this as soon as they become available.